Hello learners, welcome to this grade 9 English language lesson. Today we will discuss the structures that we use to express contrasts. So to contrast means to compare two different things, two different people, or two different situations. So the structures that we are going to discuss today that we will use to express contrasts are the following: the use of although and even though, these two mean the same; the use of in spite of and despite. So let us focus on the use of despite and in spite of. Remember, these two, they mean the same thing. But the difference here is despite should always be used, should always be followed by an ing verb. An ing verb. We can say, in a sentence, we can say, despite running very fast, he came out last. Despite running, you hear the running, despite running very fast, he came out last. Despite walking slowly, he reached the market in time. Despite walking slowly, he reached the market in time. In spite should always go with the preposition of. In spite should always go with the preposition of. And then we say despite does not go with the preposition of. Remember this one. Despite does not go with the preposition of. So we can say, in spite of being strong, he failed to lift the heavy log. In spite of being strong, he failed to lift the heavy log. So we have contrasted, we have expressed contrast in the two situations. We expect a person who is very strong to lift the heavy log, but this person failed to lift the heavy log although he was very strong. So you hear again me using although here. Now here are some examples for us. Let me just lift the screen up a bit. A few examples. Example number 1, we can say, Lulu received no rebuke from the teacher on duty, although she came late for class. You hear the use of although there. Lulu received no rebuke from the teacher on duty, although she came late for class. So if we are asked to rewrite this sentence beginning with despite, we will say, despite coming. You remember the ing verb here? Despite coming late for class, Lulu received no rebuke from the teacher on duty. So the two situations, when you come late for class, you are expected to be rebuked by the teacher on duty. But in this case, Lulu received no rebuke from the teacher on class. So we say, despite coming late for class, Lulu received no rebuke from the teacher on duty. Okay, let us go to example number 2. So this sentence A says, although it was raining heavily, the pupils continued playing football. Although it was raining heavily, the pupils continued playing football. So we can say, if we are asked to begin the same sentence with in spite of, we say, in spite of the heavy rains, the pupils continued playing football. In spite of the heavy rains, the pupils continued playing football. So let's look at the last example here. Example 3. Sentence A says, he listened to me even though he was angry. He listened to me even though he was hungry. So we can hear the use of even though in this sentence. He listened to me even though he was angry. So sentence B, beginning with in spite of, we say, in spite of being angry, he listened to me. In spite of being hungry, he listened to me. So sentence C, they ask you to the same expression with the use of despite. We say, despite being angry, he listened to me. Despite being angry, he listened to me. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson, learners. Now, I have an exercise for you down here. I have an exercise for you. You can pause and go back in this video. Go back and listen where you were not very clear. And then do this exercise here. There are just 5 questions. 5 questions. After you do the exercise, you can send your answers. Send your answers to me, either on my, you can email me here at songasanji.com or WhatsApp me here. Then I can mark and send your result back to you. Thank you so much. Enjoy